Welcome to this video series on wellness program resources. Our topic for this video is technology basics for employee wellness programs, or what should the basic technology infrastructure of an employee wellness program look like? Number 53. Now, I'd like to share with you one of the clients that I've had done some work for over the years. I met at a national conference on health promotion and wellness, a director of wellness from a company that was a computer manufacturer. It was in the Eastern Seaboard, and I was talking with her at this national conference, and she began to describe a problem she was having in terms of attempting to do wellness in a very labor-intensive way. And essentially setting up a separate wellness program at virtually all of her different manufacturing sites, technical service sites, and other sales locations. And I began to really kind of propose to her that she might really think about building a strong technology core to her program. And instead of trying to duplicate in each location a very labor intensive and oftentimes a high requirement for skills in terms of being able to deliver wellness to her population. She had over 50,000 employees. And I began to really kind of talk with her about that. She got interested and began to ask me if I would help her develop a technology platform for her wellness program. And I gave her, basically, I laid out a plan for her in which I would help her identify which are the components that she needed, how they needed to be configured, and what kind of a vendor to look for that might do some of the integration of the various technology components. And I had worked on essentially a report for her, which I traveled to the East Coast and spent some time with her explaining what was in the report and talking with her about the technology infrastructure. And I then really talked with her about how she might go about implementing the various pieces. And we really laid out a 2.5-year period with a variety of major milestones where she could, in fact, find a vendor that would put together the technology that she needed in order to deliver wellness. So that resulted in her going ahead with that period of time, and over that period of time of building out her wellness program for her employees. And it turned out that her program became a COOP Award winner and identified with some very substantial results, economic results and health improvement results for her particular workforce. Now, let's go ahead and look at the tool that I developed as a result of the plan and that we had put together and that she had implemented that really dealt with how the technology of wellness can in fact be put together and managed effectively. Now, as we usually do with each of the videos, there's a link to this 2-page tool that you see on the screen. It's provided in the description for this video. So if you want to pause the video, go ahead and download the tool, and then you can restart the video and follow along as I cover some of the highlights. First of all, this particular tool is really designed to cover the basics of the technology, and we might call that an infrastructure or a platform, a technology platform for delivering wellness to your population. It starts off with an annual health risk assessment, some type of health questionnaire that allows people to understand the nature of their risk and also is able to give them some of the cues of what issues they should be looking at for their own wellness and well-being. A personal report is the second piece of that. So the HRA allows it, when it's computer processed, to usually produce a useful document that really kind of summarizes the highlights of the significance of their health risk assessment results. The third component of the technology platform is a telephonic coaching call. So our ability to help people understand and also begin to think about working on specific behavior issues in wellness is that third piece of technology. The fourth one is a smartphone app, and they can do a number of different features. They can provide medical self-care kinds of information, as well as being able to help people with structuring tracking systems for nutrition changes, weight management, smoking cessation, sleep quality, all kinds of basic issues. But the idea is that we use smartphones, since the vast majority of US residents, adults, have a smartphone that we can potentially use for wellness. The fifth area of technology is a learning management system. And the larger companies have essentially implemented, almost all of them have implemented learning management systems. And that's where we have a video, almost like a video that we're covering right now, connected to a quiz, and that then needs to be completed and scored at a high enough level to allow the individual to credit and be credited for that particular module. And that's the way that we can deliver a lot of the wellness content that our workforce needs. So that's called a learning management system, abbreviated LMS. The next technology component are some periodic mailings, text messages, and or emails. And that's the communication that we have with individuals that are participating in the program and are receiving a variety of different kinds of media, communications media, as a support for their wellness activities. The seventh area is a personalized wellness newsletter, and that's where we take the results of the health risk assessment and actually have that shape the kinds of content and areas of topics that are covered in the newsletter, and then it is distributed either usually electronically, but it can also be a paper-based distribution of that information. That used to be the norm before we really got much more online and electronic in nature. The next area is a primary care practitioner summary, and it's essentially whatever the person is working on within the context of their coaching and or their HRA results or their personal report on wellness, on their own wellness. That can be summarized for something that can be taken in and given to their primary care practitioner. Only about 60% of employees tend to have primary care practitioners, but it's an important element in our ability to essentially use the healthcare system wisely. So being able to have that primary care practitioner understand what we're doing and trying to do within the wellness program is the reason why we have that particular technology piece. The next area is a full function eHealth portal. And that's there are a lot of different vendors for those, but they have a lot of different functions that can be fulfilled. That's essential in terms of our ability for people to drill down into the areas of interest that they have, and having a website to go to that allows them to perhaps capture their health information, their wellness information, as well as to utilize different kinds of functional capabilities, like helping people set up an exercise plan or a nutrition approach or a food diary. But all the various things that can be done in wellness can be done through that eHealth portal. And finally, number 10 is in the basic technology is incentives for wellness. And that's where we're either using some variety of different wellness criteria where the individual, if they qualify and have a prescribed number of those criteria met, then they have an option to be able to reduce their health plan premium contribution. That's the most effective way that I've found to link wellness to our health benefit coverage and to give people a much stronger reason for doing wellness. That also means, by the way, that we can add on that amount to the premium contribution level and then waive it for the people who are working on wellness. And that actually is a pretty equitable way to be able to help people identify the fact that they need to pay more for their health insurance, because if they're not working on their wellness, the research basically says they will move toward a high-risk state, which will then recreate and produce much higher levels of healthcare use. So we can technically justify it. It happens to be an excellent way to both provide the motive force for people to engage in wellness and at the same time bring a greater fairness and equity to the people who are covered by our health benefit programs. So in summary, these are the 10 pieces of the technology core, and you can actually think about them as your way of distributing wellness to your population, regardless of where they work or where in the world they are. And it uses a variety of different technologies that are pretty common technologies for all of us in today's world. The key questions for you, I believe, in using this tool and deciding how to use it is, how much does your workforce need a virtual versus a site-based approach to wellness? If you have a high need for virtual and a low need for site-based because of the difficulties of maybe serving remote employees or the ability of not having people in a common location, that's a way that you would then use more of a virtual rather than site-based approach. Second question would be, does your organization have the resources and the wherewithal to benefit from a strong technology platform? Is your follow-through good as a company, as an organization? Can you, in fact, and do you have the resources to build out the technology and have that technology continue to serve the needs of your employees? The last question is, will you be able to help them link and integrate the technology components for optimal results? So for those 10 technology components, the issue is, will you be able, or someone will be able to link them to lead to the best effects? A few more tips about using this particular tool is, you want to be sure and point out that the 3 different wellness strategies or program models that we've talked about, the feel good, the traditional, and the results driven, all have very different technology platform requirements. So depending on the approach that you're going to use for wellness, it'll have a lot to do with how much of this technology platform you need to have up and running and integrated. You also want to keep reminding key players, senior managers, mid-level managers, and/or staff of your wellness program, that you want to carefully acquire help from vendors to perform this technology related functions that are embedded in this technology infrastructure or platform. And you have to do that in order to get optimal results. And those results are economic return, those results are in health improvement, participation levels, changes in knowledge levels and healthcare literacy and health literacy. Those are all the kinds of things that you're attempting to bring about. And you need to be willing to help them determine the efficiency and effectiveness of their technology platform. So you have to become more familiar with how these technologies work. And I think ultimately, my suggestion would be willing to build the technology platform over time. This usually does not get done all in one year. It's a multi-year process, just as it was with the client that I talked about under the story time topic. So in summary, this particular tool can be very useful in helping both get a clear idea of what the technology needs are for your program, as well as being able to help the organization begin to come to grips with what it means to really do a wellness program that's going to affect people's health and well-being and the economics of worker health. In summary, a carefully developed technology platform for your employee wellness program is critical to both the efficiency and the effectiveness of your efforts. I want to thank you for watching this video, and be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. New videos are published weekly. For more information, you can search for WellCert on the web. WellCert is the premier professional certification for wellness program leaders. Be sure to check out this training program if you want to improve your wellness programming skills. And remember, delivering great employee wellness programming is a high calling. Let's do our best to get the job done. Good luck with your wellness programming efforts.